Right friends, welcome back to Why and How. This is for third week, and the first one is GST, Goods and Services Tax, is most likely to be introduced from 1st July 2017. We deliberated in detail during newspaper editorial and I gave salient points. Please go through them. Up to 1.5 crore rupees turnover. The authority with regard to assessment will be 90% by states and 10% by center, and if it exceeds rupees 1.5 crore, it is 50-50 for center and states. And here one point I would like to tell you, some of you may have confusion with regard to integrated GST. GST is divided into state GST, central GST, integrated GST. Integrated GST is basically tax on interstate supply of goods and services as well as tax on import of goods and services. This point please do not forget, and remaining things are available in this PPT. Please go through them. Second point, World Employment and Social Outlook, and fundamental point is who looks at this employment and social outlook at the global level. This is issued by Geneva based organization ILO. ILO is United Nations organization which looks at labor issues, and here as per the report, jobless in India will increase from 17.7 million to 18 million in 2018, and more than this at the global level. One important point to note is vulnerable forms of employment. Without social security benefits, without job guarantees, that means contract workers, self-employed, informal form of workers. So, the percentage of this vulnerable forms of employment, that is the worrying factor, and the percentage of vulnerable forms of employment is 42% of total employment. This is the worrying factor. Across the world, 140 crore people employment is vulnerable. In emerging economies, 1 in 2 workers are in vulnerable forms of employment without social security benefits. So, here World Employment and Social Outlook is released by ILO, Geneva based organization, and vulnerable forms of employment is going to be the real problem the world is going to face, and it is pertinent when you look at a country like India, because in India more than 90% of the workers are in unorganized sector. So, social security benefit is very much essential, and emerging countries means the countries where substantial GDP growth is there. The GDP growth is quite high, and those countries are very important in the global economic arena. Those countries are called emerging economies. But the World Bank classification is something different. World Bank classifies countries based on low income, lower middle income, upper middle income, high income, and India comes under lower middle income, and this is based on gross national income per capita. Look at the next one. The Union Minister for Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, the minister is Uma Bharti, and she stated that Ken-Betwa river linking project has received environment, forest and other clearances, and here it is basically transfer of surplus water from Ken Basin to Betwa Basin, and one important aspect is it involves construction of Daudhan Dam, that is one part, and it is going to immensely benefit Bundelkhand region, and Bundelkhand region is spans across 2 states of our country, that is Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. This is one important point. Bundelkhand spans across 2 states, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, and here several clearances have been received, and the funding pattern will be reviewed by Niti Aayog, and more than that, what is important is here Panna Tiger Sanctuary is going to be affected. Panna Tiger Reserve which is situated in Madhya Pradesh, that is going to be affected because this project is going to inundate around 400 hectares of Panna Tiger Reserve, right. So, this tiger habitat is the real concern. So, if someone talks about Ken Betwa, one should have clear idea about Bundelkhand region and Panna Tiger Reserve. Panna Tiger Reserve is in Madhya Pradesh. Supreme Court refused to modify judgment on Jallikattu, and thousands of people, or you can say lakhs of people, gathered across Tamil Nadu in peaceful demonstrations. I gave various points here, and on Friday we discussed in detail about Jallikattu. Please view that editorial discussion. We discussed in detail about Jallikattu, and this is basically the part of harvest festival Pongal in Tamil Nadu. Madras High Court banned it in 2006, subsequently Supreme Court banned it in May 2014. And here one organization, don't forget, PETA India. This is non-governmental organization, international organization based in United States of America, which is fighting for animal rights. And another organization, Animal Welfare Board of India, this is headquartered in Chennai. Basically, the purpose of establishing this organization is to reduce cruelty to animals. And if you look at further, this is the picture of Jallikattu, and the Supreme Court ban came with regard to provisions under Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960, and based on this act, this Animal Welfare Board of India was established with headquarters at Chennai, and this Animal Welfare Board of India is under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It is a statutory body and it advises the government with regard to cruelty to animals, to reduce cruelty to animals. And the brain behind the establishment of Animal Welfare Board of India is Rukmini Devi Arundale. These things don't forget. And for Jallikattu, against Jallikattu, we deliberated on Friday. So, please view that, and I listed out various aspects for as well as against. Please view this page. Then the index of industrial production has grown by 5.7% in November 2016. And here 2-3 important points I would like to tell you. This is released by Central Statistics Office. Central Statistics Office also releases consumer price index figures as well as GDP figures. So, these three are released by Central Statistics Office. This is under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And when you look at the index of industrial production, this is very important. It has got manufacturing. It has 620 items. That means index of industrial production tracks various items. Here manufacturing has got the weightage with 75.53%. Manufacturing in IIP has got weightage of 75.53%, and it has got 620 items. And if you look at mining, mining has got 61 items with around 14% weightage. And if you look at electricity, it is 10.32%. So, all put together it is 100%. So, if someone talks about index of industrial production, the weightage of mining is 14%, electricity is 10.32, and manufacturing 620 items weightage is 75.53%. And another important aspect is the base year is 2004-05. Because of this, there is some element of ambiguity, or you can say it is somewhat away from the reality, because 620 items of manufacturing pertaining to 2004-05 may not be that relevant nowadays. So, this is to be reviewed urgently. Then 8 core industries comprise 38% of the weight of items included in IIP, and electricity is a part of this 8 core industries. So, these things don't forget. Union Ministry of Minority Affairs constituted a 6-member committee to look into the Hajj subsidy issue. What is Hajj? Hajj is a pilgrimage to Mecca. Here this is Mecca, place in Saudi Arabia. This is the place highly sacrosanct, or you can say Muslims' life ambition is to go to Mecca. So Hajj pilgrimage is nothing but going to Mecca, the Muslim pilgrim center, and government is giving a subsidy for the pilgrims whoever are going to Hajj, or you can say Mecca in Saudi Arabia. And Supreme Court in 2012 stated that the subsidy given to the Hajj pilgrims must be abolished by 2022. 10-year time period was given, and Supreme Court stated that this money can be used for the educational and social development of the community. And now 6-member committee was constituted by Union Ministry of Minority Affairs. Right friends, let us move on. The next one is, as per the data from the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. You may have a doubt, what is National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority? This regulates prices of pharmaceuticals. Certain pharmaceuticals, or you can say certain medicines prices, are regulated by National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, and this is under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. This is very important. And National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority recently stated that there is a margin of 11% to 1000% at different levels for stents. Here let us look at what is a stent. Stent is used wherever blockades are there. Wherever blockage is there, these stents are used. And if you look at the stents, actual cost, if you look at imported stent, if actual landed cost is rupees 5,000, it is sold by the hospitals at rupees 40,000. The hospital is charging rupees 40,000. Similarly, if the landed price is rupees 40,000, hospital is charging rupees 2 lakhs. So there is lot of margin for hospitals as far as stents is concerned, and this raises a big question about the ethical practices followed in our country as far as medical equipments or medicines are concerned. Right, let us look at the next one. Hope Island of Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh came into the news because of death of olive ridley turtles. Olive ridley turtles normally found in warm waters of Pacific and Indian Ocean, that is the one part, and this olive ridley turtles lay eggs, and recently 2 instances came to the forefront. One is this Gahirmatha Marine Sanctuary in Odisha. Gahirmatha Marine Sanctuary, several olive ridley turtles were found dead. Please look into this picture. This is the picture of this Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary. This is Hope Island of Bay of Bengal near Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh, and previously an instance of Gahirmatha Marine Sanctuary in Odisha, and now the incident of Hope Island of Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh. These destinations are favorite for laying of eggs for olive ridley turtles because of the mechanized fishing boats. Their lives were lost. Right? So we are not able to protect this olive ridley turtles. Look into the next one. Supreme Court observed that tax breaks given to political parties is perfectly legal, and Supreme Court also stated that they require donations from followers to project their political ideology. Then Supreme Court accordingly dismissed a petition seeking to lift 100% tax exemption granted to political parties. So there is 100% tax exemption granted to political parties, and the Supreme Court perfectly upheld that. Look into the next one. National Green Tribunal. This is statutory body, and National Green Tribunal recently ordered Union government to test cosmetic products containing microbeads or tiny plastic substances. What is this issue about microbeads? Microbeads, before going into it, let us look at these items. These are natural products. These natural products in good olden days or even now also, these natural products are used as exfoliating agents. You may have a doubt, what is meant by exfoliating agents? Exfoliating agents means they are used to remove dead cells. In cosmetics, like soap, we use soap to remove dead cells. So, previously for removing dead cells, these natural products used to be used, but nowadays in cosmetic products, these microbeads or microplastics are being used. These microbeads or microplastics are being used, and please don't forget, our toothpaste also consists microplastic species about 30 micrometers in diameter. And what is the problem of using these microplastics or microbeads? The problem is they cannot be tracked by our sewerage systems. Our treatment systems cannot track these microbeads, and ultimately they will go into the seas through our river streams. When they go to the sea, then what will happen? Their marine life is affected. So, to protect marine life, there is a need to prevent the usage of microbeads, and in place of microbeads, this natural exfoliating agents can be used in our soaps as well as toothpaste, right. Here National Green Tribunal ordered the government, please verify whether our cosmetic products contain microbeads or not, right. So, this is all about this, and the need of the hour is to restrict the use of microbeads, but India has got no consistent microbeads policy. Then look at the next issue. Supreme Court directed Kerala government to release entire 500 crore compensation to over 5,000 victims in 3 months' time. This is all about the usage of endosulfan. Endosulfan was sprayed aerially by the state-owned company in Kerala. Endosulfan was sprayed on cashew plantations by Kerala state-owned agency, and subsequently, because of this side effects of this agrochemical, human beings living in the adjacent areas of Kasaragod district of Kerala were badly affected, and it resulted in delayed reproductive development, autism, stenting long range contamination, neurotoxicity. Because of all these aspects, Supreme Court stated that Kerala government should release immediately 500 crores as compensation to over 5,000 victims. Supreme Court stated that this is to be banned. Supreme Court stated in 2011, government stated that this cheap agrochemical endosulfan will be banned by 2017. And another important aspect is Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants. Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants banned this in 2011. It added this to the banned substances, right. Let us look at the next one. 47th meeting of World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum is Switzerland based, and it was started in 1971. Klaus Schwab was the person behind this World Economic Forum, and this year theme is responsive and responsible leadership. And another important aspect is every year this conference is held at a place called Davos. Davos is the highest city in Alps mountains at an elevation of 1560 meters. It is in Switzerland. Please look into this. Davos is the place in Switzerland, and there every year business leaders, government heads meet and discuss the pressing issues with regard to the world, right. And another important aspect is it is free for the members who pay up to annual membership of around $6 lakh. Then another point is, for the first time Chinese delegation is led by its president Xi Jinping, right. World Economic Forum this year is concentrating on fight against terror as well as protectionism, because nowadays a lot of protectionist tendencies are going on, and in India around 93% are holding jobs without the social security benefits, and this is one important point, and this is the point which is to be solved by any government, right. The Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology, this is the RBI's arm, this IDRBT, please do not forget IDRBT, or Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. This is a Hyderabad based organization. This is the organization, or you can say research wing of Reserve Bank of India, and Reserve Bank of India has got another college, Indira Gandhi Institute for Development Research, or IGIDR. IGIDR is based in Mumbai, and this IDRBT is based in Hyderabad, Telangana, and here this organization has conducted project using the technology behind Bitcoin, this Bitcoin as well as blockchain technology. These two things we are going to deliberate as separate capsules, and blockchain technology came to the forefront nowadays because of more and more hacking. Nowadays we are talking about more and more digital technology aspects, and hacking assumed a lot of significance, and blockchain technology is the technology which makes hacking difficult. And last week IDRBT released a white paper titled Applications of Blockchain Technology to Banking and Financial Sector in India. Look into the next one. China says One China policy is non-negotiable. One China policy is the policy, please look into this. China says that any country which has official diplomatic relations with Taiwan will not be accepted by China. China will not have any relation with the countries which will have diplomatic relations officially with Taiwan, because China does not recognize Taiwan as an independent country, right. So, this is all about One China policy. China has given 2 ships to Pakistan Navy for the security of Gwadar port. For the security of Gwadar port, this China has given 2 ships to Pakistan Navy, Gwadar port. All of you are familiar with Gwadar port, and nearer to that Chabahar port in Iran is going to be developed by India. For Gwadar port security, China has given advanced ships, and that is a cause of worry for India also. Next one, International Monetary Fund has trimmed GDP growth forecast for India to 6.6%. For the financial year 2016-17, India is expected to grow at 6.6%. In October 2015, almost a year ago, it projected GDP growth rate of 7.6% for India, and now it is reduced by 1%, partly because of demonetization. And if India's growth rate is 6.6%, then most likely it may lose the tag of fastest growing among larger economies. Look into the next one. World Economic Forum released Inclusive Growth and Development Report. And in Inclusive Growth and Development Report, India fared badly. Its rank is 60th among 79 developing countries, and it has got 3 pillars: growth and development, inclusion and intergenerational equity, and sustainability. India's score is 3.38 in the scale of 1 to 7, and rank is also quite low, 60th among 79 developing economies. Look into the next one. Second, Raisina Dialogue, on the similar lines of Shangri-La Dialogue. Everyone quite aware about Shangri-La Dialogue. Shangri-La Dialogue is held every year in Singapore. On similar lines, India also started one dialogue with the name Raisina. What is Raisina? Raisina Hill. Raisina Hill is the elevated place where Rashtrapati Bhavan is situated. And this dialogue, that is Raisina Dialogue, is started with the cooperation of Observer Research Foundation by the Ministry of External Affairs. And this is the second year, and the theme for this year is the new normal, multilateralism with multipolarity. Right, this was inaugurated. Second Raisina Dialogue was inaugurated by the Prime Minister, and it is the flagship conference of India. This is into the second year, and basically geopolitics and geoeconomics, these two aspects are deliberated here. Right. So, the next one, India became the associate member of CERN. We deliberated previously, and in the month of November, India's Atomic Energy Commission and CERN signed an agreement to admit India to CERN as associate member, and all the formalities are completed and India became associate member of CERN. We produced one capsule during 47th week on India and CERN. You can view this capsule, and if you want more, it is European Organization for Nuclear Research, or you can say CERN, and it is the world's largest nuclear and particle physics laboratory with headquarters in Geneva, and it has got 22 member states, and now India is becoming associate member of CERN. And Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved a plan to reduce government's stake in 5 general insurance companies by listing them on stock exchanges. At present, the government share is 100%. That means at present these 5 general insurance companies are public sector and private limited companies. Public sector, private limited. Once the government reduces its stakeholdings through 75%, then they will become public sector, public limited companies. This is very important, and we deliberated during this week only with regard to this in editorials discussion. Please view them. And basically the present decision is taken to ensure greater transparency, to increase accountability, and profitability of these general insurance companies will improve and lethargy will go away instantly. Please don't forget, GICRE is India's only reinsurer, and another important aspect is GICRE created India's first nuclear insurance pool, or you can say India Nuclear Insurance Pool is created by GICRE in association with others. These things please don't forget. And here I gave for your clarification difference between public sector, private sector. Public sector means it talks about ownership, public sector, private sector, it talks about ownership, and public limited, private limited talks about whether public shareholding by persons like you and me is allowed or not. Right friends, if you want more, you can also listen to Cabinet Decisions capsule this week. And with this, let us conclude why and how. Please do join for other capsules. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thanks a lot.